What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good morning.
Top of the morning.
How's it going for y'all?
It's snowy
Not bad,
outside. I'm
man.
sure it's not where you're at, but it is
It's freezing rain, so even
really.
worse. Yeah,
Wow, that is kind of worse,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah,
it's
we
kind
get that combo here. You don't
yeah,
get really snow without rain, without freezing rain anymore, it seems.
yeah. It's kind of relaxing though, being able to just hang out inside and it's all gray and dark outside.
It's weird. It's relaxing to hang out inside right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. It's a new thing,
yeah.
Wow. Way to be positive right off the bat.
right?
I love
Trying.
being inside.
I'm enjoying this forced indoor quarantine.
Right.
Yeah,
I think every day should be like this
forever.
Dude,
for at
no.
least a year, you know.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
It
that'd
was
be
like
crazy if it went on for a year. It'd be almost like a
You
pandemic or
know,
something.
almost almost like it.
hypothetically speaking, maybe it even went longer than a year. Who knows?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
Maybe we'd learn something about ourselves and each other. We'd start treating people better.
day one,
Maybe,
right?
like healthcare workers would get a raise or something.
Maybe.
That would be cool.
no, they would just be forced to work and not get paid anymore, while everybody else can stay home and be safe.
I don't think that would happen. If we were
No, you
forced to
don't.
be home. I
You
think
don't think that?
people would take the time, look at their teachers and their child care workers and go, you know what, you guys deserve better. And then immediately, like immediately, maybe their pay would be doubled.
There was someone, I don't know who it was, but Ray and I were watching something last night where uh, it's on the news, I think. There was some sort of interview, and they were saying basically, like, now the appreciation that teachers are getting. He was like, because people are sick of their kids. They're realizing
Yeah.
that that job is not easy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter is her teacher actually is getting moved to in-person learning, so she's getting her teacher changed on a whim, and so she has a new teacher come Monday. Um, and out of the elementary schools in the area, only 25 students remained virtual.
Wow.
So it's not even, people, yes, it might be sick of their kids, but at the same time, they're none of them, everything's open now for the most part. So you
Yeah.
don't even have, like, even if you could stomach your own child, uh,
All day.
we
Stomach your
don't
own
have, we
child.
don't live in a world right now where employers are exercising a level of empathy
Yeah.
Right.
required.
Truth, unfortunately.
Yes, that is unfortunate because
So we
there
were
are
going
still.
through the new packet yesterday from the new teacher.
Mm.
Awesome. Right
I feel
on.
like that's like quadrupling the workload on teachers because say a teacher has to do all the in class stuff and then they have to worry about the virtual students even though there's not many they still have to do it they still have to assign assignments and go through emails and stuff like that. It's a lot without a pay raise. You're taking on a whole other job without a
Yeah,
pay raise.
I think around in this area you can be. I mean, it's essentially like $12 to $13 an hour. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the base pay for an elementary school teacher, which is outrageous.
Yeah,
Um,
that is
Yo,
insane.
Dania, what's up? Thanks for the follow.
Hey, Danya, she she can't respond.
Yeah, she can. If
we'll
she's
wait
in,
right here.
if she's in
We'll
chat,
wait.
she can respond. No, she should be able
Yeah.
to respond. Say something in chat. Watch her not. Now she's gonna be like, no,
Do
I'm
it.
actually I'm gonna unfollow and delete my account.
Do it
Just
now.
It instantly put me on the spot. Did you guys see? Were you able to see the animation and everything pop up for you? Chat.
I heard the music.
Well, are you
But
yeah.
watching? Are you watching the stream like on your phone or something?
I have it pulled up on another tab, but yeah, I saw the
Okay.
countdown and everything.
It worked at least, so that's good.
Yes, and it looked really good.
Yeah, the sound was clear.
Good deal.
Yeah, where'd you get that music? I loved it.
The music that was playing during the countdown.
Yeah, is it like chill hop beats to study to?
Yeah, right.
No,
Lo-fi.
it's lo-fi something. But that's that. Remember that dude I was telling you about that made the free music for streamers and now he's making crazy money off of it.
That guy.
That's one of the.
That's him.
That's one of the playlists. Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
it's nice.
Yep. For sure. Oh man.
So I put the message out in Discord, but I took a first attempt at the Project 145 description.
Oh really?
Whenever you guys get a chance, look that over. But
I don't think I
figured if we're gonna talk, whatever, if you want to call them action items or something, I threw a draft up on there. So
Nice.
What chat did you put it in?
it's on the site.
Oh,
I
nice.
used your link and threw it on there.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Cool.
So, does anybody have any stories of good things that happened to them over the week? I'm eating blueberries.
There, Danya replied to you, Alex. In all caps. That means she's enthusiastic about it too.
She didn't put an apostrophe.
I was
Dang,
gonna say, good on her for using the right your. You don't see that enough. And then there you go.
I don't know about positive things necessarily to me for the week, but there is this kid I'm sure has gotten a bunch of attention. Pretty sure he was talked about during the inauguration, but there's a 7 or 8 year old kid. He's 8. Started a food pantry in his community. Said he wants to spread positivity to inspire others to change the world. Because the pandemic left so many in need, I decided to make care packs to help elderly people in my community. And now I'm able to gather supplies to give to families across the country. And an 8-year-old kid. So he's putting together food.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right.
Wait a second. That statement, was that written or delivered by an 8-year-old?
It's written, but it is in quotation marks. So, yeah, apparently he said those words by an 8-year-old. And then, hold on, he said, after I was bullied and I felt a darkness inside of me, I knew I didn't want it for other kids to feel the same way.
Wow.
So I asked my mom if she could help me spread love and positivity. And the more I gave back to my community, the more I wanted to keep doing it.
Holy cow.
An 8-year-old, dude.
It's insane.
You know what? And regardless of the story, if there's an 8-year-old talking like that in the world,
Right.
they need to be highlighted.
Yeah, for sure.
Holy, that's his ability to be clear. Is it a boy? I guess I didn't even clarify that.
Yes, they do. What is his name? Kavanaugh Bell is his name, and
Wow.
he is in Gaithersburg, Maryland, a suburb of D.C.
Yeah, I mean, like I
Good for
said,
him, man.
you don't even run into that level of clarity from adults on TV right now. So
For sure.
No.
if he's actually talking like that, good on him, his parents, and his entire social network.
All right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Killing it.
Regardless of him deciding to take that clarity and do something decent with it.
I think most
Yeah.
people go through their whole lives and not have that amount of empathy.
No, well, and the line of he was bullied and he didn't. It wasn't that it made him, feel bad. It wasn't that the other person was a meanie head. It was that it made him feel a darkness inside.
Right.
Yeah.
That he didn't want others to feel.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I wish I had that amount of clarity at 8 years old. Sometimes I wish I had that amount of clarity now.
I was just gonna say I'd take it now, to be honest.
Yeah, it's incredible.
For real.
Yeah, nothing on that level, that's for sure. I beat Zelda Breath of the Wild with the family this week, so
Oh,
that was a high
nice.
point for sure.
Some
Came
content.
home, yeah, came home from work on Friday and walked in the door, and the daughter came up and she said, "It's time for Calamity Ganon, baby." And he's the end boss in the game,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what we did. We pushed the couches together, and me, the kid, and the wife sat in there and to beat the game together.
That's fun.
So
It's a good time. What does the game turn into when you beat it? Because I know it's a exploration, heavily leaning on exploring and doing your own fun things in the game. So what happens when you actually beat it?
I was
Turns into
actually
Pac-Man.
shocked because you beat it and you're sent to the title screen after the cutscenes and the credits,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to continue your game, and it's the same save file but with a star next to it. So it's an open world game in every
Oh,
sense
cool.
prior to that, but it
Nice.
actually has an ending. Like if you can go to your previous save file, but it'll be right before the Calamity Ganon fight. So you don't get to play in the world after you defeat him.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I don't know if this is me just conjecturing, but they're doing a second one. So maybe they want to present what that world looks like.
Yeah.
But either way, it's the best game I've played in at least 15 years.
Wow.
That's what's up.
So it's a generationally great game, in my opinion.
Zelda's always killed it though, for sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So I was
Totally.
expecting good and even great, but I wasn't expecting that good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was so good that, it ended up being not just for myself, but for the family. It ended up being a positive thing. I'd sit down in Arya's, which is the daughter's beanbag chair in front of the TV, and that's how it started. And eventually, I'd be playing the game, and she was just next to me on the beanbag chair. And she had certain sounds and parts of the game she liked. She actually really liked the song or the music that would come on anytime you'd fight a guardian.
Yeah.
It was kind of this like suspenseful, upbeat, you're in danger music. It was far and away her favorite part of the entire game. So she just wanted me to. I'd keep the fights going a little longer just so she could be. She was like,
She wanted to join the stressed out, hyped
Yeah.
moments of the game.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for grammar. Dude, Danya
Mm-hmm.
said. F
But it's
all.
also pretty cool that at the heart of the game is kind of a game of hide and seek. You find these things called Koroks, and they're indicators of where they're hiding. Like a rock that's out of place or whatever. But there are no spoilers or something, but less
Mm-hmm.
than 1,000, but more than 500 of them just throughout the world. I went out of my way to look for them, but without making an active attempt, I ended up finding. I was at like 435 when I ended the game or something like that.
So what do
And
you
there's
get when you get
also,
all of them?
where do you get them?
No, what do you get? Like, what's the
I have no
prize?
idea. I actively tried to not look anything up when I
Oh,
played it because it's so easy now to play a game, to start a game, and then just be like, oh,
cheat
where is
through it.
this at? Because all
Yeah.
the answers are out there.
It'll show you right on the map where it'd be like a
Yeah,
video walkthrough of where it's at. Yeah.
Sorry,
because
guys.
there's also, in keeping with Zelda and whatnot, there are Zelda's known for dungeons and whatnot, but in this there are shrines, which are basically just mini puzzles and or battles or whatnot, and there are 120 of them with like monks that are at the back that transfer their spirit to you and you gain their strength. Arya called them mummies throughout,
So
so
it's
that was her favorite thing.
a pretty
Outside of that,
realistic game then.
yeah, same thing. Like you go outside, you go to work, you complete a shrine, you collect the spirit of a dead ancestor, and you you go better, go on forward better than you were before.
Typical work day for sure.
That was my Wednesday. So
Yeah. All right, I'm tweaking the layout of this a little bit. I couldn't really test it with you guys, so whatever. Anybody watching is seeing this, but it is what it is.
Aubrey and I played some video games over the weekend. We played Pokemon Stadium 2 on N64,
That's what's up.
and just got mad at each other. And then
mad at each other because you guys were playing the game properly and like exploiting each other's weaknesses, or
yes, yep,
that's good.
like actually knowing how to play the game and not letting your wife win.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't do that either. So
No. Yeah.
that's cool.
And
I just
we
don't
played
play
some,
competitive games with Ray because
no, you can't.
Yeah,
Not with Ray.
there's no
Love you,
point.
Ray, but she'll hit you.
Yeah, it'll just ruin your day.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, we got the Switch that came with the Mario Kart, so we were playing a lot of Mario Kart, the wife and I, and Mario Kart. The nature of the game is you're just constantly being hit with crap, and if you're out in front and you get hit with a blue shell and then followed by a red shell, you can't even control yourself. It just comes out. You're just like,
Yeah.
God, I can't believe all this bad stuff is happening to me. Meanwhile, every other racer is getting bombarded in different ways, unless you're in like last place. Um, but I would always get like first or second every time, and then Jacqueline would just look over after, and I'd be like, "Man, that was a rough race," and she just be like,
Barely even finished.
I was like, "Man, I got hit with all this stuff," and then she was like, "Yeah, but you got first. Like,
Yeah.
why do you care?" I ended up in 12th.
That's usually about how I do on that game. I'm pretty awful at that game. I can't get the drifting down. But
It's reps for sure, because I kind of played it, with my uncle and whatnot, here and there with years in between, and the drifting never made any sense. But after you go through the entire circuit, you get it. Jacqueline was actually is still way better at drifting than I am.
That's
also
awesome.
I played some Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest.
Yep.
Really, the only reason I played it is for the music, because I think as far as soundtracks for a game goes, that has the best like ambient soundtrack of any game ever.
Mm.
It's
That's
so good.
Jacqueline
The
loves that game.
the Pricker Brush Symphony or whatever that song is, like where you're on the bird and you're like flying through all the briars,
Yep.
Yeah, I play that level like 100 times in a row just so I can listen to the music. Yeah, it's good.
Hell
Wow.
yeah. Dude, Donkey Kong Country gets stressful.
It is.
At the point where like the world around you just starts collapsing and everything's falling over, there's volcanoes erupting and there's stuff falling
Alligators chasing you.
on your head, and yeah, and it's like you can't even. There's no time to think about your next move. You just have to make it and hope it works out. It gets stressful.
Oh, Ray.
Ray, oh my god.
She's not wrong though.
Could
That
you?
has
Could you?
It's
that has
always
some of the best hip hop tracks of that year.
always.
No, it
And then
has a
like you
great
go to
soundtrack, but do you have to say the whole damn thing?
Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. It's actually remix, Ray. You're missing a word.
Oh my god! Don't,
Dub Edition
dude.
remix.
So bad. Good lord.
Yeah, I'm just.
Ooh, wait a second.
I'm trying to pull up the Project 145 description. John, just break your camera. That's what's up.
Yep. I said, screw it, I'm out. He's done.
Da, 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 da. Let me know if. Well, might as well test this now. I'm gonna do a screen share and see if my other page works well. So 1 sec here. Actually,
So that was because my door opened, which could only mean one thing, that my daughter, who sleeps in her underwear, was about to walk in. So I had to.
Fair enough.
that's funny.
Yeah. I'm not trying to, tread those waters this early.
Hey, Ray. Thanks for the follow.
I like the way that looks.
Your wife.
Right. Yeah, the animation is. I'm glad everything's working.
Yeah, it looks good.
So.
Looks really, really good.
Oh,
All right, I have to. I'll get this pulled up here in just a minute. I have to publish it.
I'm messing with my camera here. This angle right on Twitch.
All right, let me see if.
That's a little better.
I don't know if you guys will be able to read it. Actually, John, do you have it pulled up? Do you just want to? I can probably do a screen share, but do you want to read your Project 145 description and we can discuss it a little bit?
You want me to read it aloud?
I'm gonna see if this will work here.
Just take your time and enunciate, John. I know you can do it.
Unique New York. New York.
Let's go parachuting on Tuesday.
The teeth and the lips.
Let's go parachuting on Tuesday.
Lion face. Lemon face. Lion face.
This
Lemon
should do
face.
it now.
Where are you at? Are you doing it?
I believe this will do it. About to find out.
There you go.
You see it? Switch
It did something.
Switch the stream over. Cool, that worked. That's what's up. Take a peek at Twitch real quick. Let me know what you guys think of that page.
Oh, nice.
Ray,
Looks
Danya, how's that look on your end? Our camera's off to the side now, and you should be able to see my screen.
So it reads, "This life and the universe in which it is carried out are filled with beauty, wonder, growth, and joy. That is not a common sentiment these days, is it? Turning on the news often results in a full-on assault on our senses and our consciousness. We seem to be on the receiving end of an endless barrage of intentional manipulation and negativity. As humans, those inputs have very real consequences at both the individual and societal levels. What if we flipped the script? If it is true that we are affected by our surroundings and the things we consume, including our media, couldn't that be harnessed for good? What if the information you received was intentionally instructive, empathic, and/or functional? Project 145 was created with those questions in mind. We believe that the individual is at their best when they belong to a community and their internal wants, needs, and passions are being accepted, reinforced, and materialized by the external world, resulting in fulfillment. And a society is at its best when it's composed of fulfilled individuals that are intimately, inextricably linked to one another. The internet has increased the size of our respective social circles. We, each of us, belong to a much larger community than our ancestors. Let's start treating one another like family. Let's do better together."
Damn, John.
Right on.
That's really good.
Audience
zero, baby.
reaction.
First thing I wrote down.
That's
That's
just talk to text. He just recorded and let it set
I
it.
actually
Strap
never
one.
used talk to text in my life.
You don't?
It never
You said-
gets it right.
Oh yeah. Nice.
There are a couple edits there you can see.
It's gonna blur with the.
It's
background,
blurry
right?
for sure, but you can see like this isn't normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great, John.
Yeah. I dig it. I did talk to. Actually, I talked to Dawn last night about forming a nonprofit. I was seeing a bunch of mixed information online. I'm going to switch back real quick here. One sec. All right, let me go back to full screen. I was seeing a bunch of mixed information online about who is allowed to start them, what your relation to them can be, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? That's why I hit up Dawn. She obviously knows it. So I'll send you guys the information, but there is no restriction on the three of us starting one, because I was seeing that maybe it's certain states, maybe it's different, I don't know, but there were restrictions on family members running a nonprofit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she said that that's not a problem. A lot of nonprofits start as family endeavors. So no issues there. She sent me the state of Ohio. Forget what it's whatever. It's a legal jargon. Essentially, it's a 32-page document on charitable organizations in the state of Ohio. So I've got a list of things that we'll need to kind of get together to discuss, and you have to have a board, minimum of 3 people. You have to set up like your bylaws. You have to go into who's
Kind of convenient.
Yeah, right. Just landed right on it. So yeah, I've got that information. We can, we can kind of start that ball rolling. But I think we should probably do it a little sooner than later, because if we get this rolling, we can then register as a charity on Twitch, which prevents more of any donations or anything that would come in. We would keep 100% of it and fund that project. So,
right.
Yeah, we can kind of talk and discuss.
Yeah,
those
I
kind of
mean, I
next
think we need
steps.
to proof of concept it off the jump, though. So, like, we've talked about it, and you can probably pull it up if you want. But Jordan and I live in Toledo, and there's a food bank. Jordan's gonna pull up the page that has, easily accessible donation, but it comes with a description of what your money translates to. And if we did a goal of $500, which happens to be, as you can see here, it says 100% of your donation stays here. $50 feeds a family of 4 for a week. 100 feeds a senior for a month. 200 buys milk for 400 kids this summer. $500 will fund a delivery, a donated truckload of food, which equates to 40,000 pounds.
A truckload.
For $500. Which seems like, in terms of the donations and what you see on the internet with respect to Twitch and charitable runs and things like that, like a small amount. But
Yeah,
that
definitely.
small amount, when 100% of it stays with the charity and is donated properly, amounts to a large sum of goods and services. So I think we hook up social media wise with this foundation and do a $500 drive targeting that 40,000 pound delivery.
I will make it live on stream right now. We need to establish a deadline. Basically, how long do we want to keep this live for, this goal for?
I mean, I figure we do it like something like this every 2 weeks. I feel like 2 weeks would be more than enough time, right?
Yeah, let it ride for 2 weeks. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way we can build some attention and actually get up to that goal.
Yep. And to be clear, this is the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio. Website seagatefoodbank.org. We'll provide a link.
I'm Going
But yeah,
to.
so you can do a lot of these things directly through social media now, right? So
Yeah.
we can lead a drive and have the receiving end basically be informed of that, and then they receive the funds directly via us, right? So,
So what? 2 weeks? We're
with
looking at the
COVID and
14th,
what's that?
Valentine's Day. 2 weeks is Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Oh, is it? Shit. Okay.
Yeah, so with food insecurity the way it is, and the winter months being associated with hunger the way it is, kind of intuitively, I think it makes sense to target this first and
Yeah.
build from there.
Yeah, I think $500 is a completely realistic goal, and
Yeah,
if it goes over, great. If it's a little under, maybe we can bridge that gap a
There you
little
go.
bit.
Now it should pop up
yeah,
on our screen there.
let me check that out.
I titled it 40,000 pounds of food.
No, that's good. I like that. Well, that's the cool thing about the target is that it's something that is at least imaginable.
Yeah.
A lot of things, it's almost tangible, right? You
Right.
can you can picture a truckload of food. So that's smart for the organization itself, and it's smart for us to hook up with that.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's another thing I wanted to talk about because you were talking about getting engaged on social media. Obviously, it's going to be the most powerful way right now to get attention on it. So yeah, we need to kind of iron out a strategy there on how we want to move forward with social media.
Hmm.
Um, I think to keep things, because we also have to make it streamlined to donate. Everybody's used to GoFundMe's and that sort of stuff, but I don't know that I really want to go that route. I think, they're pretty straightforward and simple, but we're going to divide where people are going to contribute. So I would think that we just keep whatever we do on social media, we just share the donation page that is set up for this, and funnel everything through that. But again, well, whatever. We'll get to it later. I was going to say we will keep more registered as a charity, but
Hmm.
we can establish
Yeah.
that in due time. So, all right, you guys see the donation goal on screen
Yep, I
now?
can see it.
Yes.
Cool.
40K pounds of
Yep.
food, 13 days to go. Yeah, it seems clear there. Um, yeah, it looks good. And I kind of did a little bit of research, and you can find that kind of consistently food insecurity is a problem, generally speaking, even outside of coronavirus times, for anywhere between like 10 to 15%
Hmm.
of the population. So, what is the US population right now?
At
So
least
it's
5 million.
330 million 58,718. So 58, 718 times, let's do conservatively. We'll take it at 10%, right? So obviously you could just take the zero off. You're talking about 33 million people, right?
Hmm.
So if you're taking the conservative number at 10%, there's also been analyses by various institutions like the Brookings Institute and stuff like that that have found that that number has risen, sometimes doubling and maybe even tripling.
Yeah.
So especially during the winter months, it just seems like a very intuitive thing to do, and something that if we're going to try to consistently do positive things, it seems like a good start. It seems like a pressing concern right?
Yeah.
Coronavirus isn't going away anytime soon. Hunger is not going away anytime soon. And winters, especially in this area, it hits a little harder. And
Yeah.
so it seems right.
And even low level jobs are still a little bit more difficult to come by because companies are still obviously like probably anybody could get a job at McDonald's, but like it's still kind of hard to get into these companies because they're trying to stay in the black as much as they can, and they don't really want to hire entry level right now, so it's hard for people to make any sort of money. And the last time we went grocery shopping, I felt like we got maybe 2 or 3 days worth of food, and it was close to $100,
Yeah.
which is, and I mean, we shop smart. We don't just buy like fucking ribeyes and stuff like that. But it's kind of impressive that a place can fill a truck with 40,000 pounds of food for
Right.
$500.
I know. I want to see
That's
what that
awesome.
looks like.
Well,
No,
that
I do
also,
too.
yeah, it speaks to, I think, you know, our chain, our supply chain. If
Yeah.
you're cutting out fat, how much cost are you saving there? You know, to keep a grocery store like a Kroger or one of these large chains up, how much are they having to jack prices up?
Right.
That sort of thing.
You just have bloated and
And
administrative costs. You guys ever been
yeah,
to it's like Cholinos or Ciolinos, I don't know how it's pronounced here
yeah,
in town,
yeah.
Yeah, the
off
place is
Lewis?
great.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
went and spent $500 in there,
It seems like you're
I could
robbing a
probably buy
bank when you're
everything
there.
there.
dude, I tell people when I recommend that place, I always tell them, I'm like, look, if you spend $100, you have too much food in your cart.
Way
Like
too much.
you overdid it. You even though it says 5 limes for a nickel, you don't need all 5 limes. you know, if you spend $100 there, you're gonna throw away a lot of produce because you're not gonna eat it before it goes bad. So
Yeah.
So that makes you think that 40,000 pounds of food for that amount, you're potentially looking at actually healthy foods at that point, at raw materials, as opposed to a lot of what we find in grocery stores, which is more akin to plastic than food in most
Yeah.
cases.
right,
Jordan and I had a very similar experience with what it was a meat alternative, right? Was that what you had the same experience with? Because I know I had when I was,
when my body didn't know what to do with it.
yeah.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
was it?
So when I was vegan, and in between living situations when we couldn't cook up veggies and healthy foods,
Mm-hmm.
we we started getting some of those, like, vegan hot dogs and stuff like that. And it
That
was
sounds
the only thing
terrible.
that changed in my habits and it's actually not bad tasting, but
Right.
that's the only thing that changed in my habits and my diet. And all of a sudden, in like 2, 3 weeks, I put on a noticeable layer of fat. Like, nothing changed.
Hmm.
So I put two and two together and just kind of was assuming that, my body had no idea what to do with this. This is it's an alien entering my body. It's so far removed from food
Right.
that
So
what
it
if I
doesn't
took
even want
that
to
out?
process it.
Yeah, well, it is a process thing, and it's probably a well labeled term. Yeah, my body didn't know what to do with it, and it was just storing it as fat, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I cut that out and immediately went back to where I was within
Wow.
days. And
That's crazy.
Jordan had the exact same experience.
For sure. I had the same experience,
Yeah,
but almost more extreme because I was even intensely working out and seeing not opposite of results. It was not going in the direction it should have been going, and
Hmm.
it's like, well, that's a problem. But yeah, I mean, I think the food's the way to go. It'll also be, if we talk social media, I think we need to find a way to get in contact with that organization, um, communicate with I don't know, whoever their public relations would be, however they would handle that, have some sort of interview even, or if we can get pictures, if we can meet with them and
yeah,
see
for
that
sure.
truck arrive, that paints a,
Mm-hmm.
a picture for people to see like, wow, That's what 40,000 pounds of food looks like, you know?
Yeah.
And hopefully the intention is to get there without substantial input from any one person, you know? It's about mobilizing a lot of people to do a little. And
Right. Get 500 people to donate $1. I
right.
mean, that's almost no investment whatsoever.
Right. Right. You probably got it in your car under your seats right now,
Yeah, and the couch cushion.
right? So,
Well, I think that's the whole point, right? That if you created a large enough pool of people, that lowers the burden at the individual level, right?
Right.
So if you get buy-in from 330 million Americans, there's no task that can be that is monetarily based that is impossible at that point.
No.
right.
Yeah, at that
And
point, everybody would have to donate what, a dime?
no, that's what I'm saying. You could cut your pennies in half, and you can cut
Right.
them into thirds, and just kind of throw the copper out. And
Right.
if everyone collectively did that, you could make someone a billionaire. It's
Right.
like
Yeah, that's crazy to
so.
think about.
No, but it's cool with the food truck. If you do that, the goal, obviously, I mean, you can go on social media and you can go on YouTube and you can find people that donate large sums of money, but and do these positive things, but it often feels self-serving,
Yes,
right?
100%.
So I don't want to borderline or engage in that, so taking a picture of it is more, if we can agree, an attempt to put a physical embodiment of an investment
Yeah.
to put it in
Yeah.
people's eyes, because like I said beforehand, even with charities in general, I think that's a problem. There's a lot of distrust. People think that you're donating money and it's getting absorbed by the organization.
Right.
uh,
Exactly.
but like you said, if you got 500 people to donate $1, and you donated $1, and you saw what that turned into. You only donated $1, and look at the contribution that you
Hmm.
made,
Yeah.
because
Right.
food is also something that's
Everyone
tangible.
understands it. Right.
Everyone gets that you need food, right?
Hmm.
And we're not talking like Alex said about ribeyes.
Right.
Like
Right.
40,000 pounds of ribeyes isn't $500.
No, you're probably looking at like cheap bread, oranges, bananas,
Canned
just,
foods.
yeah,
Right.
lettuce, shit like that.
Just
Yeah.
40,000 pounds of iceberg lettuce.
Oh
That's it.
my god, that's worthless.
Worthless. Yeah, but I
Well,
mean, like you kind of just said though, that picture. I'm curious personally what that
yeah.
looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would wanna.
Yeah.
I would want to know what does that truckload look like? You know?
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between showing people what their investment is going towards and standing in front of the truck full of food with all three of us with like a giant check, like
Right. Right.
Well, and it's funny.
Hashtag donating. Hashtag
yeah,
look at us.
living my
Yeah,
best life.
Right.
right. I mean, it's funny, and we obviously can tell we're joking, but that's literally what people are doing,
I know.
For sure.
and that's not rare. And people are making a show out of it, and like the prank shows that you can find everywhere.
Yeah,
And none of that tells the story about the people that are being bothered, that are just walking down the street. Like
I know.
that. Every time I see those, that's who I sympathize with. I'm like, could you imagine if I just got off work, had a bad day, and this dude hit me with a pie?
No, you're
Oh
gonna
my
get your
god,
ass
I
beat.
know, right?
you're,
For
you're probably
real.
gonna get beat up.
Well, and in that case, you would deserve that beating, right?
Yeah.
So,
You don't know. You never know what kind of day somebody's having. Don't mess with people.
Right.
especially especially right now, but a lot of us are locked up, but
Yeah, true.
people are going through a lot for sure.
We had after the um with all the BLM protests and everything,
Hmm.
after the fact, the places that were damaged physically, you had your people on social media going and taking a selfie of themselves asking to borrow somebody's drill and hammer who's
Yeah.
actually working, and they're like, "Look, I'm fixing stuff."
Made me want to throw up.
I know. That's so
I
awesome.
will
Let's
I
do
will
that.
say, like, the people that are doing these like big donations, and like there's this one guy, it's like Mr. Beast or something like that, or
Yeah.
on YouTube. He'll like go to different restaurants and give like a $10,000 tip to a waitress or something like that. And people, me as well, think that it's kind of weird that he's videotaping himself doing that. But at the same time, he's still giving that person that
Right.
deserves it money.
Well,
Like
him.
whether or not he's doing it for the clout or
Right.
not, like
Well, him
he's still
videotaping it is what allows him to get the money. So
exactly
that's
right.
kind of a that's kind of the it's a good
Yeah.
Double
example
edged
because
sword.
that's kind of what we have to toe that line a little bit.
Yeah.
People are going to if we get this rolling, people are going to buy into us as
Mm.
well and build that trust where we are not creating some sort of system with a bunch of administrative bloat and
Right.
10% of their actual donation goes towards something. um, so we're gonna have to, I guess, sell ourselves and the experience along with
Mhm.
the cause, because it's just human nature. If you just put this a sign outside of a building or something that, hey, put your spare change in here to help donate 40,000 pounds of food, versus a conversation with somebody and you might like that person, or they say something that hooks you. That's they're going to buy into the person, even though they're
Yeah.
spare change, they're doing the exact same behavior. So
And people like seeing results. If
yeah.
we show them that their money went directly towards this,
Right.
like we have a picture of the
Right.
food.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the truck that everybody
Yeah.
bought. you know
Your money went directly towards this thing for these people.
Yeah. And then how do you
But
show
Yeah.
the follow up from there too? So it's like, okay, where does the food go from there? Can we tell the story of that as well? Can we see
Mhm.
how many people, for how long, does everybody get, a can of food and a sandwich, or do people get fed for weeks
For
on
weeks,
this? You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, what is the actual impact of that much food? So we
We're,
should obviously keep that in mind as well.
yeah, you're seeing layers of questions that people, I mean, the conclusion you're ending up at is because you're asking questions in real time in your head, right? Because
Mhm.
you're going, okay, so I donated money and it turned into Y or X. And then you get to see what that looks like. And then you're like, well, wait a second. Just because there is X doesn't mean it's going to Y,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So then you start talking about that. So yeah, I think showing that journey from start to finish is just instructive.
Yeah.
Like on its face, it's even not even just from a content standpoint, but I'm curious from a curiosity standpoint.
Right.
I'd
Yeah, I
like to see
agree.
that as well. Where what does it look like when you hand $1 off, and when that task is completed?
Hmm.
What did it all look like? Who did it all go to? And getting someone involved from the organization or from the process would be important too. You brought this up. If we did this, and then we can bring in someone, for example, from the food bank,
Hmm.
and they can talk about, an experienced individual, what it looks like on the daily there, and because then you'd also get a little more proximate human need translated as well, because you can list figures, and 33 million people plus are food insecure, but that's no matter how many times you say it, it's nebulous, right?
Right.
If you've never been hungry, if you've never been food insecure, you're not even involved in that world, you can't picture 33 million people.
No.
So
Right. Yeah, I mean, a
turning that into
picture
real
of
world.
if that food, so you have if the images of that truck, you have the statement from someone there telling how, you know when it how does it get to the person eating it, right? What's that journey from truck to the people that need it? And then you have, if I don't know, if it ends up at a food bank or something downtown, you have pictures of that actually paints the real picture. Like, hey, this is how many people are in here every day for
Yep.
lunch, because they don't have a meal at home, or they don't have a home. Who knows what the story is.
Yeah.
So,
Or they have 4 or 5 kids at home and it's a single parent and
Yeah.
right,
they have no idea how they're going to feed their kids. I mean, that's definitely
We
the most impactful.
There's a lot of issues involved here. I mean, you've got, again, all of it's happening in light of winter. You've got the change in the season, which inevitably, when you're talking about food insecurity and winter, homelessness comes into mind, right?
Sure.
So, you're, another thing that's interesting is you're kind of behind the scenes. There's a lot of mobilization happening, right? Because even when you're talking about from food to truck, who's involved in that and how?
Mhm.
That's not like boom, a coin drops from the sky and a carrot goes into a truck, right? I mean, you're talking about human beings doing actions, right? So there's shipping, there's receiving, there's logistics of many different kinds happening. So I think all that deserves to be highlighted
right,
Yeah.
because there's just so many things that fly under the radar anymore because everything is so convoluted and everything is so it's a big world with a lot of information.
I think some of it too is um, like selective ignorance with some people, and it's not everybody's fault. But I think most people assume that since there are shelters set up, soup kitchens, pantries, and stuff like that, that the homeless are just taken care of. They realize that homelessness is a problem, but they think that since these places are set up, that they're just taken care of. When really, shelters are only open 3-4 days a week because of lack of funding. Food pantries only have so much food, and it's almost 100% donation based. So those places rely on donations, and for the rest of the week these people either don't have food or don't have a shelter, and it's 20 degrees outside, and they don't know if they don't know what the hell they're going to do for the next day. But I feel
right.
like a lot of people are just so comfortable with ignoring that, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, well, that goes and touches on kind of one of the goals here is to get people to feel invested
Yeah.
in things they aren't sure of, and regardless of whether or not you even potentially trust the source, if it's something like this, if it's something you can do, you probably just should do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is $1 to you? What is $10 to you? What is $100 to you? That's a personal choice, but there's a
Mhm.
lot more freedom and wiggle room there than a lot of people are willing to admit. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like that. Anyone who's attended a psychology course of any kind runs into the Kitty Genovese case at one point in time, which is essentially what you're kind of getting at is when um, this woman was stabbed repeatedly in an apartment complex, and it's said to have had 38 individual witnesses, but nobody called the cops
That's right. Yeah.
because every other person was doing what you just suggested. They were all assuming someone else was handling it.
Yeah,
Yep.
So I think I don't know if the Twitch thing just lagged out,
Yeah, it's buffering.
yeah, I see it as well.
but that is
It's back.
that's just it's a nature of our psychology, especially in a larger world, and especially with systems that you're not even like people are only mildly even aware of the idea of homelessness.
Yeah.
Like, who's actually engaged in it? Who's actually thinking about it? And if you're thinking about it, you're probably going to be the person that goes, "Oh, well, someone else is taking care of it."
Yep.
That's just the nature of the beast. It's the nature of your mind. So that's the
No,
goal here is to we
yeah.
shed light on it. We get people to maybe look things up because that is a cool thing about the modern age. Information is readily available. You can look the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio up, and boom, you're going to see a website and you're going to see exactly what we showed you earlier. And maybe that conjures up a spark and you want to dig in deeper. Maybe you don't, but regardless, maybe you throw a dollar at it, right?
Yeah.
Get involved, and like it or not, I know I don't like it, but like it or not, most things are monetarily based, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is going to be the way you speak. It's the way, it's the future of political movements. And what we're seeing right now, and I don't know enough about it to speak on it, but we're actually seeing it in real time with the GameStop stock stuff. That's what's going on. It's you're hitting someone in the pocketbook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but that's how I say, people don't get that's how you speak. I mean, the internet gets it, the algorithms get it because you speak and they show you advertisements based on what you're saying. But that's what you're saying. If you buy something, you're sending information, right? If you live in a town and 100% of the people buy milk from a cow, guess what the stores are going to stock, right?
Right.
But if 50 of them want soy milk, that you're changing, your money's having a proximate direct effect on the world around you.
Yeah.
So we can do that here, and we can serve as a intermediary of sorts. But the whole point, the whole end goal would be that we aren't even necessary, to be honest, right?
Yeah. We would just serve as that middle ground.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing is people. It's an interesting conversation I actually had at work. It kind of comes into this a little bit. People also want convenience. Um, Anything that's hard or less people are going to do it. You apply that to anything in life. But if you
Yeah.
make something easy to contribute to, or easy to make an impact and make a difference, yo.
Well,
Oh
Yo.
my gosh, I couldn't read that name. Someone just followed. Hold on one sec.
cool.
It was like
Yeah.
all.
Jordan, I was actually thinking about that when we were at the grocery store recently, like the whole rounding up to the nearest dollar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like exactly what this is.
Yes. Yes. So you want convenience? Hold on.
Hmm.
Knive KLLAH66. Um, I
Yeah.
have a
Thanks for the
feeling
call.
I actually know who that is based on the name, but I'm not sure. But anyway, thanks for the follow.
Follow.
Yeah. Not only that, with the rounding up, which is a brilliant thing, it's a brilliant tool. But God, anyone who's has a kid or who actively engages in mobile gaming, this exists. It's actually their almost their entire business model.
Right. Right.
What
So
do you
You
What
yeah,
do you
make
mean?
just
well,
convenient, easy. Okay, you're out of turn, so you can just tap this button to get more
yeah,
gems that will then
Oh,
allow you
right,
to do this. So you don't have to wait a day. You know,
right.
it costs 50 cents to do it. So it's go, yeah, 50 cents. I want to keep playing. You know,
You don't have
but
to sit there grinding.
you have a million people playing that game that spend 25 cents a week or 50 cents every other day. It's like, okay, well,
We're rich now.
you're rich now on those
Yeah,
well,
little easy, convenient transactions. So
yeah.
but doesn't Amazon do that as well? Don't they have like one button shopping?
oh yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
don't have to add it to the cart anymore. If you have a payment method saved, you can just click buy now, and it just uses your saved payment, and it's done. It
Yeah,
uses your
Although,
default shipping. It uses all that stuff on your account.
have you guys seen the Amazon Smile thing?
No.
yeah, I think
So
so.
it's on your account.
Right,
You set a charity. You set your favorite charity. They have like I don't know a whole list of them. I chose this dog shelter. It's like for senior dogs, and for every purchase that you make, they um, give a percentage of that to the shelter. I mean, it's usually a few cents for every purchase, but at least something is going to a
That's cool.
charity. You know, yeah,
So yeah, I
Yep.
mean, you set things up like that so it's easy because
yeah,
that's another, like you said, John. An unfortunate thing is things are monetary based, and another unfortunate thing with human behavior is it needs to be easy if you're gonna make this, if we're gonna make this a successful venture, we have to make it easy, simple, streamlined for people to participate and show, you know, be truthful and trustworthy ourselves to show
Yeah.
the impact that it's making, and hopefully we get a snowball effect and we get more and more people to contribute just a little bit, and you make bigger and bigger differences. So then one truckload of food turns into who knows what,
Yeah, and
paying off
primarily,
someone's student debt who comes from whatever, maybe they're the first in their family to go to college and they don't have money or whatever it is. Everybody's in a situation with college debt these days, but
Yeah.
be easy to
Getting
find
off
somebody that is a deserving recipient of that. And if you have enough people
Sure.
giving a little bit, you can knock that out.
Yeah.
yeah, we had that discussion, and I don't want to do any real time math again, but I think it was something like 43 million Americans had student debt,
Yeah.
and the majority of it's I forget, but somewhere between 20 to 40 grand, right? So 43 million with those individual sums, that's a very small, that's a drop in the bucket for each person. So if you created a large enough umbrella, a large enough community, again, the input need be only small to tackle what at the individual subjective level are large sums of money,
Mhm.
because
Right.
the majority of people in this country can't withstand a $400 surprise, just a $400 surprise, right, of any
Yeah.
kind, whether it be from food or rent, or maybe you lost your job. Like a
Car
$400
breaking
safety
down.
net, yeah,
Yeah.
$400 safety net is not a safety net
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So yeah, and I think it becomes a much even much larger number if you take it to like $700, which again, if most people are struggling at that level, that speaks volumes, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
is there
sure.
anything that you guys wanted else to knock out while we're doing this, or while we're checking out Twitch and while we're on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think we might as well discuss kind of a full social media strategy here, because
Yeah. I was just about to bring that up.
we can't just do one thing a week or whatever. So we need
Yeah.
to have daily information going out. That also isn't just the current donation goal. It's not just the current thing we're trying to tackle, but the whole intention is a place of positivity, because seemingly everywhere else in the world right now is profiting off of the opposite.
Right.
So, whether it's positive stories, like the 8-year-old that started a food bank in his community, or positive things for your health, mental health, physical health, your
Mhm.
relationships, your parenting,
Yeah, well, on that
whatever.
topic, before you get any further, I heard you did the Wim Hof for the first time.
I did.
What did that
Yeah.
feel like?
I definitely had. Well, I didn't really know what to expect, because I hadn't watched it before. I didn't know what it was. First off, I was surprised at how simple it was. I was
Mhm.
expecting to go through many different different reps of different types of breathing: fast, slow, deep, shallow, whatever. I was expecting it to be like a full blown Lamaze class or something like that, and it wasn't. It was just the same type of breath 30 to 40 times until your body's feeling a certain way, as he says it, until you feel charged. And I think that's a
Yeah.
good way. I think that's a good way to
Yes.
word it.
No, he's
You
all about intuition, man.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Not only that, so it was very simple to go through those motions. And I did 2 rounds of it. So one round is 30 to 40 deep breaths, essentially, inhaling all the way, not exhaling all the way. You're not blowing out everything. So you're inhaling deep and letting it
Yeah,
out.
more oxygen than carbon dioxide, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then after you get your 30 to 40 breaths, you do a breath hold, and another thing he always talks about is to not push your body. So it shouldn't be strenuous. It shouldn't be painful or stressful in any way. So once you feel the urge to breathe strong enough, you just breathe and you take a deep breath, hold it for 15 seconds, let go, and repeat. You do that 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I didn't run a timer on my breath hold. It probably wasn't that long. Um, did the second round, and I did a minute and 20 breath hold that since whatever COVID has hit, I've been working from home and sitting down and not doing any form of exercise. So my cardiovascular shape is terrible. But anyway, so a minute 20, I was like, that's kind of cool. But the 2 things that were the most interesting, other than just being able to hold your breath, and while you're holding your breath, you are not feeling deprived of oxygen.
Yeah.
You start the breath hold on an exhale, and you are
Mm-hmm.
not feeling deprived at all. You feel like you're just fine. You have to kind of do it to really know what it feels like, but you do not feel deprived of oxygen while you're holding your breath. And I'm someone who struggles. I've done one of those. If anybody has done one of those, what are they called? The sleep pods or whatever, the float pods. And so
It's like a sensory deprivation chamber.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you're floating in super super salty water, so you're buoyant and
In the dark.
whatever. It's in a
Yeah.
completely dark, and I just tried to count my breath. I have a clearly some sort of hyperactive brain that needs to learn how to settle down because I could barely get to 10. I got to 10 a couple times and then realized I was thinking about other things again and lost it. So, but
Yeah.
during this breath hold, the second one where I held my breath for a minute and 20, I never lost my breath count. For one, I'm not breathing, so I wasn't really counting my breath because I'm holding it. But over the course of a minute and 20 seconds, I counted very, very slowly to 16. It's weird to kind of word it that way, but I was almost taking those deep breaths in my head
Mm-hmm.
and counting them. And I got to 16, no interruption. I didn't trail off at anything else. And then once I felt the need to breathe, I stopped my time, took the breath. And you hold it for 15 seconds, and when you exhale and just kind of sit there with that, you're you you feel light. Your body actually feels. I've only gotten one massage in my life, but it's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
You're you feel light. You feel loose. Um, yeah, so it was definitely an interesting thing, and I can absolutely see it being a perfect exercise to kind of start your day and to just kind of calm down if
Right.
if you're stressed or you're tense about something and you kind of go through those motions and be present during it. It's
Well, that's the cool thing is it is kind of a reset, right?
Yeah.
And when you said be present, you aren't even so there are elements that Wim Hof brings in. He did you use his app, the Wim Hof method?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if you dive any deeper, his words, his the way he frames things are also important. But you said being present, and you said that it's difficult for you to be present otherwise, or to be focused on things like counting. But the method that he has um, moved forward with, you don't really have a choice, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you were sitting there going, okay, this is going to be the time I'm going to be able to count to 16.
Right, right.
Right.
No, you had no other choice. You took a deep breath out and you sat there. Your body is probably tingling, and you're kind of going like, holy hell, I actually don't feel the need to gasp for air.
Yeah.
But then Wim likes to incorporate, words of encouragement about that, like that word charged, right? So he runs even further with that. And he lets you know beforehand, like when you take this deep breath out, you don't need oxygen. You've got enough in your body
Mm-hmm.
because it's in the blood cells, it's in the blood throughout your body. You don't need to breathe it in because it's already there, right? So he's telling you that you're getting to this alkaline state and that your body is energized, right? Let it be energized. And he brings that energy to the table. And did you have that tingling in your hands
Oh,
and
for sure. Like
Yeah.
your whole body,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Jay, it's interesting that you say you felt light because Johnny, like right after you told us about that last week, I had to try it. I'm like, there's
Oh,
no
you
way
did
you
it.
can. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I'm like, there's no way you can hold your breath that long. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like, the most I can hold my breath underwater is like at most a minute, maybe. So, what I wanted to do, because I do better with meditation um, or breathing exercises using music, and I specifically use this album behind me because it's like it's really ambient, but it's also really bass heavy. So it kind of like it makes you it like forces you to be present. So what I did is I listened to his breathing exercise and did it once, but all with my eyes open. And then I went and sat in my chair and went through the whole thing by myself, listening to the music, and definitely got the tingly feeling, like 100% in the arms and like my thighs. But then as soon as as soon as I let out that last breath, like completely let it out, my body got so heavy that it felt like I couldn't, even if I tried, I couldn't get up from my chair. It was like I was part of the chair. I was so heavy. And then
Interesting.
I don't know if it was because I had just got done doing, like, I woke up first thing in the morning, did a quiz, a bunch of homework and stuff like that, and I had a cup of coffee. But as I was not breathing and sitting there and being present and also listening to the music, there was like this light right in front of me. You know, almost like when you rub your eyes and you see like those colors and everything. There was this concentrated yellow light in front of me, and it started to like barb off in like different tendrils and everything. And then there was like a shadow in the middle that almost looked like a cat pupil or something, and it kept opening and closing and opening and closing like this. And focusing on that allowed me to not even like think about breathing. I forgot that I was holding that I had let out a breath, you know.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah. I really don't know how long it was. It was somewhere in between 2 and 3 minutes probably, because I looked at my CD player count and it was somewhere in there. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was really interesting effects. But afterwards I felt so like so careless,
The hell you saying,
you know.
Ray?
Careless in
Phosphenes.
the sense like you had no cares.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
afterwards I got up and I'm just like, I'm like, that homework meant nothing to me. Like, I'm glad I got it done, but it's not real. It's not a real
You're like,
thing.
exactly, what is homework? That's a question. That's like, no, for sure. Well, and that's why I think it's such a good method. Is it's so unavoidably unavoidable. You have to deal with it, and it does just by breathing, and it's a very simple breathing method. Your body changes, and it changes in
Mhm.
real time, and you have to react to that. And
Yeah.
if you do, I mean, you practice maybe meditation and breathing techniques more than your average individual, where you had that ball of light and the pupil going
Yeah.
this way like Men in Black. Um, you have strategies for diving deeper, right?
Mhm.
And um, whether talking about mushrooms or what have you, but there are kind of gateways, and I don't know that subject as much as you do, but because I've only dabbled once, but
Mhm.
those there's something going on with the brain with meditation and with focus that uh, a substance like psilocybin kind of brings to light that you're expecting to not have to play a part in that journey, right? That you're gonna consume this and you're just gonna be like, all right, here we
Yep.
go.
Yep. I'm gonna let
But
it happen to me.
it's not like that at all.
No.
and you can't even really fully grasp it or even come to think you're going to grasp it without getting there or thinking about trying it. Because, I did it, for example,
Mhm.
and hours passed and nothing was happening. And I started to get, you know, kind of down on myself and came to my computer and put on World of Warcraft and got on my flying mount and just started going through the Jade Forest in
Yep.
Miss Pandaria. And it was just like you said, just
Yep.
and all of a sudden it's like I found a door because I forgot I was looking for a door. And then but I was like, oh look, that's a door.
Mhm.
And I went through it. And then for several hours I was on a completely different plane of existence.
Yep.
But
That's the interesting thing about mushroom. I think we were talking about that last time. Mushrooms is definitely a form of meditation in that it forces you have no option but to be present. It's almost like a breathing exercise because some people, most people, I would say, most experiences that I've read, you have to focus on breathing because your body naturally wants to hold its breath when you're on that. So it definitely forces you to be present, which is if that's all you get out of it, then that's great.
that's actually a good point because when you do start going down this avenue and into this investigation of your body and your breath and your focus, that's one of the inevitable truths that you initially encounter, right? Is that your inclination is to hold your breath and tend toward panic,
Yep.
and you don't have to,
Hmm.
right? So those autonomic responses aren't autonomic if you focus on it and if you
Yep.
make it a constant effort, which is one of Wim Hof's biggest takeaways too. He takes it much further than that even, but when even when you're doing strenuous things like working out or whatnot, a beginning lifter or a beginning martial artist in jujitsu, for example, it's nonstop tension and it's nonstop panic breaths.
Yep.
But we know for a fact that's the inefficient way to be behaving and going about trying to actually use your muscles,
Yeah.
right?
You're not getting enough oxygen.
Yeah. So once you do this for the first time, you realize that you actually have control over that. And then
Hmm.
once you realize you have control over that and you employ it, the output is unavoidably positive and greater than it was before.
Yep.
And you can do this at any point in time. And it's all about, even like you said, if you take away one thing, it's that moment where you go, you're breathing too fast
Yeah.
and you slow down. Like that's a level of focus and conscientiousness that itself is a worthwhile lesson.
Right. And you're 100% present at that time. You're not thinking about anything else, the future, the past, what the room around you. All you're thinking about is your breathing.
Yep. And I like to tie breath to movement. Um, and which is why, as a work task, mopping has always been one of my favorite things to do
Interesting.
because, and it's actually happened right now. I'm not happy with my job or my task or whatever, and I
Hmm.
was asked with cleaning up an area, so I went and got a mop and a bucket and had the best day of work in my last year because, which always happens anytime I grab a broom or a mop, I have a spiritual experience.
Wow.
I, I end up tying the movement and the extension to my breath and I turn it into a breathing exercise, and it always is a positive experience.
That is a strange catalyst,
Yo,
but
I
I guess if it works for
my room needs some mopping done, dude.
you.
Like
Yeah, come on
no,
over,
I
man.
got a
like for
bucket
real.
and a Swiffer mop, dude.
That's
Yeah.
not a bucket. That's a dog bowl.
You can get spiritual back here, man.
Yeah, I'm actually that's actually probably the healthiest thing I could ever do is be a custodian. Even kidding.
Dude.
I, I'm heavily considering pursuing
That's
it. I,
You're
because
probably the only person that has ever said that.
yeah, well, I feel like I'd go to work and I'd have an 8-hour meditation and I'd come home.
But
That's what it
you
would
would
feel
need to
like.
find a custodian job at a business that closes, and you would go after business hours.
Yes.
So I've mentioned this to you guys. This is one of the most, when I look forward to one day owning a martial arts gym, immediately before the students and everything, I go to me mopping up the mats at nighttime. That's what's always that's like the first thought in my head.
That's
Not
his
people learning, not me getting better, nothing. I
dude.
get to mop my own mats. That's where my brain
But they're
goes.
your mats, so you'll really enjoy mopping those things up.
That is really interesting, actually.
I'm not even kidding either.
I
It's
believe you.
because it is. It's a reset. Like you said, I get to have that reset because
Yeah.
I tie it, I get my breath involved, and all of a sudden I'm taking a task most people hate and I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
Especially if you work in a place that you get to have music
Oh yeah.
and you can have music with that. No one's bothering you, right? All you got to do is clean an area.
You have one thing to do.
Boom. So right there, you already have focus, right? So
Yeah.
then you take focus plus breath work, and you have a weapon. Like what
True.
stuff jumps off, dude? I have a mop, right? Like
You're
You can do some damage with
I'm
that.
capable.
straight
I'm
up
capable. Mop.
Donatello childhood Ninja
Yeah.
Turtle dreams.
That's awesome.
And Donatello is my favorite Ninja
Hey,
Turtle.
Xenomorph level 426, I think it was.
LV426.
Someone getting the
Dude,
follow in. Xenomorph
don't have
LV 426.
Hey,
Jack.
Xenomorph, Alien, good movie.
Thanks for
Not
the
as good as
thanks for the
Predator,
follow.
though.
Oh yeah, I
Dude.
wanted to mention
No,
something.
no comment on that.
I'm gonna go get a coffee real quick. I'll be
Go
right
ahead.
back.
So that's hilarious. John's gonna be a freaking custodian in a week. Awesome.
Yeah, all he has to do is quit his job and be a janitor. He'd be the
Right.
happiest guy in the world.
Right. That's him though, dude. He would be though. Like when he's saying that right now, he's not kidding.
No, I mean, whenever I sweep the back porch, like I can see what he's talking
You
about.
and
Like
Ray are literally saying the same thing right now.
oh my god, she said the same thing. That's awesome.
That's hilarious. Dude, I'm about to give John $5 to mop up my room.
Yeah, he might pay you. It's a therapy session.
right. Charge him for it. Uh-oh. Alien better than Predator. Don't even play, bro. Xenomorph.
Aliens. No, xenomorphs are definitely superior.
I'm guessing now that the alien conversation is here, I feel like I might know who Xenomorph is.
Who is it?
Xenomorph, do I know who you are? Do we know who you are? Yeah. What's up, Jack?
Duh.
What's up, Jacqueline?
Oh, it's Jack.
Right on. So yeah, man. When John gets back, though, I think we need to. We should iron out, or at least not iron out, but we should get started with a real social media strategy and YouTube strategy.
For sure.
That's the only way we're gonna funnel people here. So yeah, I think we got to do. Oh wait, here just a sec. He's back.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think we need to cover the basics at least. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, YouTube definitely. We could maybe even segment. I think you were talking about this a week or two ago. Like segment videos to like the highlights, and make that a video on YouTube.
Yeah. So we'll have recordings of this when it's done, so we can see how that works, breaking it down into YouTube videos or putting the full stream on there as well. We're just gonna have to find whatever our I think we make social media posts and small videos and things like that on the positive, healthy things, something that you're
Yeah.
gonna, you
Well,
know,
what we just talked about, breath work, that's a
Yeah.
very, it's an easy thing, it's a tangible thing. And there are so many resources today. You could provide them with a clip. Wim Hof has stuff right there on YouTube, right?
right.
So stuff like that. But before we move forward, and not to break anything up, but when you're talking about social media, I'm assuming you're talking about hooking up with the donation goal, right?
Hmm.
So again, that's going to be the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio. We're looking for a $500 goal, which translates to 40,000 pounds of food, right? So I think we should reiterate that frequently. And you know, is that tied right now? So if someone does do a donation, is it linked to the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio?
What do you mean? The
So if
one?
someone
The
donates
donations.
right now, where does it go?
No, it goes to us, and we would then pass it on. That's what I'm saying. Is I feel like we have to keep it that way because it's going to segment things too much. It'll fragment where money's going. If we did a GoFundMe or if we did a Facebook fundraiser or
Yeah,
something like that, I think we just use the link to our, which I can provide you guys, or you can just get it on our Twitch channel, the donate button on
Yeah.
our Twitch channel. Um, so it'll go there, and we then once we reach the goal, give it to the food bank, go through that process. So in the meantime, we probably should reach out to them, see if they have any. I don't know. We maybe we can get some information on how many people they feed on a regular basis, what their numbers kind of look like, so we can kind of share
Hmm.
that, get a little bit of information on what that 40,000 pounds of food does. Start to
Yep.
share that, and then keep that
yeah.
that's
Throw up a
only one aspect of what we're necessarily trying to do, though. I mean,
yeah, for
that's
sure.
so we need daily activity, potentially multiple times a day activity of
Hmm.
positive things, a reason that somebody's going to care, to follow, to listen. How do you get people to pay attention? And a lot of places are doing it with fear, clickbait, and negativity. So we will have an uphill battle at trying to do it with positive things.
Yeah.
Um, but we just got to crack that code a little bit.
What do you guys?
Yeah,
I was thinking about this the other day. What are you guys thinking about? Maybe Instagram or Facebook or whatever, um, opening up like a suggestion box, so that way people can leave suggestion for like either topics to cover or like um, a positive story that they came across, and maybe we can chat about it for a little while, and that way we have that viewer viewee kind of interaction. You know what I mean?
so Twitch actually has that as an add-on.
Oh, they do.
You can add a suggestion box. Yep, so that anyone watching or following or what have you can provide feedback. And they go, maybe you shouldn't do that because people are just gonna, send you a bunch of hate mail and crap. But it is something that exists within Twitch.
But is it only open when you're live?
I don't know that. I don't know that at all.
Probably not, but we can check. Like the donation button isn't just open when we're live. I mean, you could
Okay.
click on and donate it at any time. We don't have to be live. Um, so I would assume some of the other add-ons would have the
So,
same
yeah.
effect.
And before we get too far ahead of what you said it's going to a PayPal, right? But
Hmm.
unfortunately, like most things in this world, it's more difficult than you want it to be or expect it to be. Why
Hmm.
can't you have a million people send you $1, and then you take that $1 million and you give it to a group of homeless children that are starving.
Well,
Right?
because
Wow.
you have to pay tax on it.
Exactly, because it becomes taxable income. So that
That's
PayPal, that's something you have to worry about without the
Yeah.
nonprofit. But which is why I was saying,
right.
is it hooked up? You don't have to do that if that donation is directly tied to, for example, like a Facebook drive that is directly sent to the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio. All of the funds then go right through that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they take anything if it's a charitable drive. Um, but then you don't have to worry about the taxable income until we decide to carry forward with Project 145 or what have you, where we become potentially the third party entity that's receiving these funds and delivering them.
Okay.
I don't think you have to worry about it for a $500 amount because I think that falls below. But I'm
Yeah.
not a tax expert. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to say that I have any expertise there. But I do know that the wife and I looked into this, and it, unfortunately, like everything else, is more complicated than you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, think about if we ever do like $1,000 or $5,000,
10 grand, 20,
10 grand. Yeah. I mean,
It's-
that's going to be taxed pretty heavily.
Right.
well, and you don't want to mess up you don't want to get into the weeds on your own records, right? You don't
Right.
want to be like, yeah, I had a bunch of people send me money on Twitch.
Right.
But I didn't take it. But then now you got
Yeah.
to
It went
answer
towards
for
something
that
else.
federally.
Yeah.
Who wants
Yeah. You
that?
can't really prove that, I guess. Can you?
Again, I mean, I have no idea, and I have
Yeah.
no expertise there. But that's what I'm saying. If that link, I don't know, because you've been working on the back end, can you tie it to a Facebook page that is doing that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But either way, that's something we can look up if $500 is even a big deal.
Yeah.
For
It
that.
won't integrate on screen like it is now. So like if people did donate, it wouldn't pop up on screen and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah, for
question.
sure.
Do you want to be in the situation where you have to prove it as the issue?
Right, right, right.
I don't even want that phone call.
No.
Right. No, you would want
No.
to. Yeah, we'd want to have Project 145 established
Yeah,
as a nonprofit entity, tax exempt.
for sure. Obviously, that's
501c3 status, the IRS.
that's G14 classified.
It is G14 classified. It's FBI type stuff.
You see, Shaq just did a G14 classified reference.
Oh my God.
He was like, only people in the league doing what I did, LeBron and Steph. It's G14 classified.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Like, who even gets that reference right now?
That's awesome.
The Rush Hour reference in 2021.
Rush Hour 1 at that.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
first one. Yeah.
Which
The
came
best
out
one.
when did that come out? 1998.
98.
Dude, I was 10. How's that possible? That's disgusting.
Damn.
I don't even know. It's like when you realize that Pokemon's 25 years old.
I know. I saw that. That's wild, dude.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, 'cause
wild.
McDonald's is going to give you Pokemon cards with the Happy Meals.
Really?
25th anniversary or something like that.
They're doing that again? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I might have to go get me a Happy Meal.
They gotta bring back the gold plated.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Those
yeah,
ones
those are
were
the best.
Those were
Well,
legit.
dude, I can't even. Did you see that someone bought or had a first edition box of cards unopened,
Really?
and they sold it at an auction for $400,000?
That's what's up.
Hey, good for them, man. Capitalism. That's great.
Small amount isn't a big deal, but if it's charitable, it shouldn't be taxed because people can write off their own donations. Yeah, right, right. Tying it directly somehow be easy is probably. Yep.
Can't you, like, when you donate something, usually they give you a donation slip for taxes. Like, whenever I drop off clothes to Salvation Army or something, they always give me a slip for taxes.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that makes sense. And again, $500 is not going to be an
Yeah,
issue.
we'll be all right round one here, but
Yeah. But yeah, we definitely want to get that set up sooner than later so we
Yes.
have more freedom.
We do have the goal at one point. I know it's a personal goal of mine to pay someone's student debt off.
Yeah. I mean, you said that from day one.
yeah.
Yes, I've wanted to do that. I had that crazy idea where you tied everyone together that has student loans, and they all chipped in a penny, and one by one knocked each other's debt off. That's, this is a small step toward that. So
Yeah. That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, in this, with, so it's on us to build the audience and get things rolling. America tax code, fun and ever changing. Truth,
you and that America.
right? I don't even know what I was saying. See,
No, we were just
I didn't do
talking
my
about
breath work first.
Yeah.
Lost it.
So anyway, I need to be a custodian.
Yeah, John's gonna be a custodian. Oh, I was saying it's on us to basically generate an audience, get this thing moving, and we can, if we can turn this into something that we are then allowed to have it consume the bulk of our time when you're talking about a job. The amount of stuff we would be able to get done to create things, to make things easier, to make things streamlined. You could make an app, a subscription-based app that charges you a penny a week, with enough people.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's
Who
right.
knows? You can have whatever. So
Well,
yeah.
then that's when you get to that size where you have an audience and you just put the word out, right?
Right.
The machine functions by itself, which is what we brought it up earlier, that Mr. Beast page. I don't know what his early work was. I have no idea what his middle work was. I hardly even know what he does now.
Yeah.
But he's at a stage now where he's attained so much wealth and attention that he can pretty much just say something and it gets done, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
He just gave his pizza delivery man a house.
Yeah, I saw that video. I did see that one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, well, whatever. Yeah, you've seen his stuff. There was one where he pranked his younger brother and like destroyed his brother's house, but he had already purchased him a new house,
Oh.
and like a badass one. And
Maybe he liked the first
dude, the moment he walked his younger brother into his new house, I knew I was watching people that just, this is the unfortunate part about it. This was what turned me off of that channel in a big way. How little he gave a shit about the new house. You know what I mean? If you gave someone that was not even struggling, if you just went and paid off someone's current house, what that would do for someone's life,
It's life changing.
this dude, it was just like another day. Like, wow, this is a cool place. Like, dude, what the? So that's when I was
Well,
like,
to be fair, he did destroy his old house.
yes, but his Mr. Beast is the number one, I think, person on YouTube. So it's like, yeah, you talk about you. It's just you're out of touch with reality. It's not necessarily their fault, but yeah, there's not an appreciation for what's actually happening there.
It's a runaway positive feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
And in a different way, two other people that have become famous because of the internet are manipulating the world around them in a different way, which is the Paul brothers, right? Like,
Ugh, right.
from a person with a love of combat and martial arts, I am absolutely appalled by their presence even in the conversation, right? They have
I don't
no.
even know who that is.
Jake
Good.
and Logan Paul.
So
Never
they're
heard of
basically social media personalities, but
Yeah.
I think Jake Paul somehow is getting like an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I know that name.
Yeah, Jake has
that's a person.
an exhibition with Floyd, and Logan is fighting Ben
Askren. Ben
Askren.
Askren in a boxing match,
Right.
which Ben Askren, if you're a combat consumer is not a striker.
No.
Like if you know the name Ben Askren and if you've seen him fight, there are actually low light videos of his striking on the internet as opposed to highlight videos.
That's
Because
awesome.
he's not a striker. He was an elite mixed martial arts fighter because of his grappling. He was an Olympic caliber wrestler. And if you look up, I mean, his nickname was Funky, right? And if you look up some of his highlight videos in grappling, there are clips of him balancing on his head, reversing takedowns at the NCAA level, right? Like he was an incredibly potent and effective grappler, and he was undefeated for most of his career. Now he's known because UFC was big, and he came in and fought Masvidal and was on the receiving end of the fastest knockout in UFC history.
Mm-hmm.
But he's boxing for money against a social media personality.
Right.
How does that make any sense? How is that worthwhile? Like, unless they both agree that it's 100%, it's an exhibition, and they're going to donate 100% of the funds to a charity. Like, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier just fought, right? And Conor was looking for a fight for a while, and at one point he couldn't get the UFC to make the matchups he wanted. So he reached out via Twitter to Dustin Poirier because they both have charitable inclinations and I think organizations. Dustin's involved with one directly. I'll look it up in a second, or maybe you guys can look it up while I'm talking about it. But
It's the
the
good
UFC
fight.
wasn't going to make, huh?
The good fight.
Yeah. So the UFC wasn't going to make the fight. So Connor started moving the pieces in the background, and he said, "Hey, Dustin, how about we hook up and we make it a charitable match. We're going to fight each other for charity." And I think they put 500 grand or something on the line. Like the loser gave 500 grand to the other person's charity, something like that. That's like worst case, or they both just threw 500 grand in.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
because before the fight, at the press conference, Dustin was like, "Hey, I just want to put it out there that, you know, Pete Connor's team has already been in touch with our foundation and has already started the transaction. Like things are already moving in the background." That was before they fought. So
So if that was the idea, if that was the goal, they did it. The UFC got into it, and they ended up getting paid to actually fight each other in a sanctioned bout. But I'm fine if you want to muddy the waters in combat, if it's for charity and it's something that's not directly linked to I'm a combatant and here's my ranking, right? I don't want to see Jake Paul fight Floyd Mayweather and talk about how good he is at boxing.
oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It's disrespectful to the art, it's disrespectful to humanity at large. So again, I don't know if Jake or if Logan or Paul, whatever his name is, when he's fighting Ben Askren, who's getting paid what and for how. But if they're getting paid to actually fight each other, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Truth.
And it's a mockery of each other, the ring, the gloves they're wearing, everything involved. So the lack of integrity there is a problem. But again, if they're fighting for charity, go at it. That's fine with me.
Right. So
And I
yeah,
get why Askren's doing it, right? I get it. If you're a fighter at heart and you see a social media personality trying to make noise, your first inclination is I'm going to stomp that guy into the ground. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's what Ben is doing.
yeah.
But Ben can't strike. Period.
No.
So
I know.
that's
If Ben goes from his UFC run into losing to Jake, right?
I don't know.
I think he's fighting Jake.
You know what? We should intentionally get it wrong.
Right.
I really
right,
don't know.
Right. Whichever one of the brothers he's fighting, if he goes and if he loses that, that's just what a shame.
Well, it's not even allowed, right?
No,
You can't allow that to happen.
He can't.
As a combatant, right?
He can't.
So,
So, yeah, no way. Okay, so I think for now, for round one, we keep the donation. Yeah.
Yeah, we leave it here for $500.
Yep. Yep. We just keep it here if we need to change it, or if we can get the nonprofit started. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Pull up the website again
which one?
for the and put it up on the screen. The Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio that we're going to do this 500.
Okay.
Can we put the link here on Twitch too? Like in the
Yeah. Put it in
description
chat
or what
there,
have
but
you?
yeah, I can put it on.
Yeah.
We can edit the page.
Yeah. Can you only receive donations on Twitch when you're live?
No. You do not need to be live.
Okay. So again, this is going to be the initial target of the donations through the Twitch channel here for room 145. We're setting a $500 target amount, and that's kind of arbitrary, but it's because of a target that the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio sets itself. It says 100% of your donation stays here. $50 feeds a family of 4 for a week. $100 feeds a senior for a month. $200 buys milk for 400 kids this summer, and $500 will fund a delivery of a truckload of food, which is equivalent to 40,000 pounds, right? So for $500 is an amount that is realistic that we can pull off, and that is the goal, is to translate that this time on Twitch, this time on the internet, to real positive change in the real world, right?
Yeah.
Because again, the interconnectivity of the internet is a positive thing if you can harness it. We're interconnected in real life, so maybe we can interconnect the interweb to IRL, right?
Very
that was off the
appropriate.
top of the dome, man.
Yeah, that was good. That was quick.
So that's the goal here: $500, 40,000 pounds of food, and we're choosing this. Jordan and I, well, Alex, you're from here, right? From Toledo, Ohio. So that is why we have selected this particular organization. But I'd like to think, and I know we will, explicitly and and on purpose, choose areas outside of our own community as well, right?
Yeah.
Because you start at your community, sure, but we are all part of a larger community, and we want to send that message. So
sure.
Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio, because we are located in Northwest Ohio. It's cold up here. Homelessness is an issue. This area of the country doesn't have a lot of great employment opportunities.
Especially now.
Yes, particularly in the area that the food bank is located.
Yep.
So it seems like a worthwhile target, and there are a lot of people in need. So if we can do something, we should.
For sure.
Yep.
So anyone that's watching this, that's to you too, right? If you've got $1, if you've got a penny or what have you, if you can part change with the things you found in the cushions, right?
Yep.
Xenomorph on screen. You should see, until we reach I don't know if it's affiliate or partner. I think it's affiliate with Twitch. I don't think there will be a donate button. Let me try and confirm that. I don't think we actually get a donate button until then, but you can scroll down on our page, on the About page, and there is a donate button, which you should be able to see on screen right now. Yo! That's that $10 donation.
So there goes the PayPal, right? So again, the PayPal is going to what you're seeing on the screen.
Yo.
Right? We aren't, for the foreseeable future and beyond, taking any amount of the money that's being donated.
Nope.
100% of it every time is going to the organization we're talking about and toward the goal we're working on. We're not pocketing any of it. We have no interest in doing so. We want to help people that actually need it, and the three of us are privileged enough to be in a position where we don't need it.
Yep.
So, and in my opinion, and I'd like to think in their opinions as well, because we are in that position, it's our duty to behave in that manner. That's how I view it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you for the $10, right?
Yes. And anybody else that just saw that, that's what happens when you donate 10 or more dollars. Less than $10 is a different little jingle, but at the $10 mark, you get that fun hype moment.
Awesome. So
Nice.
yeah, all
And
definitely
you did
all
that,
about.
right, Greg? You did all that?
Yeah.
Like you animated all that? That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I took the music, did that. There's the little Mordekaiser. John, you probably recognized him if you were watching the screen. Oh, you missed it? Just donate another $10. No, I'm just totally kidding. Totally kidding. No, you'll be able to play it back. I'll show.
Is
Actually,
this
you know what? I
presentation on the
can.
screen on Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it here, but not on Twitch. The food bank one.
Oh no.
Okay.
The food bank I can put back real quick.
No, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I put that up because Xenomorph asked about how to donate because we don't have a. Like I said, we won't have a donate button on the actual stream. You'd have to go to the about page and click on it. So that's actually a good thing to bring up. So yeah, but yeah, I'll show you the $10 donation thing. I wanted to find something that was a little bit louder and more in your face if somebody actually did $10.
Yeah, and it's cool. I've been asked this question now a couple times now. You know, you can obviously donate directly to the source, right? So why
Yeah.
would you donate here if the money's going there, right? And the goal is we're trying to build trust in a community, right? We want to make this a concerted effort that is frequently and recurrently done. We need to be able to show honesty and integrity so that we can make this a frequent endeavor.
Yep.
You know, we want to be a group that in a community of people that can do this and change our angle and change the recipient quickly and be trusted in doing so, right?
Yep.
We don't want to just, of course it's good. If you want to just donate directly to the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio, go for it.
Yeah, either way, the money's going there.
I think there's more though than that because say not everybody has $500 to donate, but maybe they want to see that truck. You can be a part of that truck. You know,
for $1.
You can still donate the same dollar directly to them. That's true, but I think I personally, I would rather see that truck happen. I would rather be able to be like, yo, yeah, I'm going to give a few bucks and, you know, so-and-so is going to give a few bucks and you keep going forward with that until you hit that goal. And then we actually get to see that truck. You don't get to do that by yourself unless you have $500 to spare.
Yeah.
So I think
we're going to do that as a community, right? We want that to be the case, that we're going to follow this all the way through. We're going to keep everyone abreast of the situation and continue to build and move forward. But yeah, we want the transparency, but above all, because again, this is what I would like to call a relatively small and attainable goal. We want to eventually tackle ones that seem impossible.
Right. Yeah, like student debt. I mean, imagine donating $1 or $10, and then you get to see this person's face holding the check that you contributed to, and then directly paying that off, and they're free of debt. I mean, that's
right.
You can't do that just by donating directly to the source. But either way, it's great.
Yeah, sorry, and the goal is that at one point maybe this chat window is a little more full, and we can go into chat logs and do that for someone here.
Yeah.
I mean, odds are people watching this or on here have some amount of student debt.
They're probably in their
Maybe-
dorm doing homework.
Yeah, maybe we find someone in here at random. I want it to be, and the first person that this happens for is going to be someone none of us know. It has to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to do it for a family member.
No.
Period. Not first. I want it to be a total stranger. Okay, like Dave Chappelle said.
Someone that
recently.
doesn't
Maybe
deserve
someone
it.
that doesn't even deserve it. But
Right.
that's all joking aside. I want it to be that we knock out those sorts of tasks. We do it as a group, and you get to have that. Even for a small amount of contribution, you're part of that community, and we're knocking out suffering, right? Because, like it or not, like we talked about earlier, these monetary goals equate to real world suffering.
Right.
Yep.
And
So-
we can start on that.
So what do we do then? Because to accomplish this goal, we need attention. So what are we going to do today, tomorrow, to get attention, to build traction, to get an audience? What do we do?
Well, this was obviously a tangible step, right? We've never done this before. So we can take this, obviously, well, like I said, this was already a step. So now we need to take a step diagonally, whatever, social media wise. We know contacts in this area that are, I would say, a little more prevalent in the social media sphere. I know, Jordan, you probably know who I'm talking about offhand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything here without their permission or what have you. But the goal would be to start amassing, eyes and ears, right?
Yep.
That's the goal. And we already kind of know loosely what we want to do from a social media standpoint, small progress every day, little things you can do to change up the brain chemistry for a second, right? It's easy to get into a rut, but you do have a role in that, and
Yeah.
we kind of go out of our way. I've made it a point, at least for the last probably 8 or so years, to kind of really dive in here. So providing that to people, but connecting it to a larger community, obviously.
Yeah.
So the positivity starts to spread, the good vibes, as Xenomorph said, become more widespread, and maybe you can eventually turn it into something that's on par with the negativity, so that we can actually have that battle, right?
Right.
We
That's
build
it.
up our
And that's a great idea. I mean, posting different things on different social media platforms, even simple things like posting just in a nice big white and black picture. Drink 6 glasses of water today. See how good you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Take 20 minutes out of your day to be present. Don't think about the past. Don't think about the
Right.
future.
Turn your phone off
And
and listen to.
Yeah,
just sit and listen to some music by yourself.
Yeah, go out in the woods and just sit for a half an hour. See what happens.
Well, that's actually cool, because you said the music thing. Jordan and I had this discussion fairly recently, talking to a couple of our cousins. They were discussing the ways in which they listen to music, and I was just kind of thinking, man, it's not how I do it. You can throw music on, but listening to music, it's like the movie White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
You listen to Jimmy, but you don't hear Jimmy.
Right.
It's like that. You can sit down in a room by yourself with some headphones, turn the lights off, and have an experience with music,
Absolutely.
as opposed to you just throw on trap music or lo-fi while you're doing homework, right? Those are two different things. One of them is a lot more focused and a lot more conscientious.
Yo, Xenomorph's got an interesting idea. Find and locate a spokesperson from the charity, which I think we kind of already talked about doing, is getting in touch with them, or an athlete, locally a prominent person, to discuss something interesting and positive. Yeah, I mean, we can definitely those positive things can come from other people locally, right? I think that's a cool
Yep.
idea. Maybe you have a local star athlete that has an interesting warm up routine before they do something, or how they
Hmm.
whatever, a local musician, something like that. That's a pretty cool idea.
Well, we have that, right? So again, the things I was having in my head, the people piggyback on that athlete thing. We
Yep.
know in
Right,
Northwest Ohio
right,
a couple of prominent athletes.
right,
Um, for instance, my most recent jiu-jitsu instructor is a top 5 grappler in his weight class in the whole world.
right.
So, and I'm on a texting based relationship with him, but we also know people that are kind of trying to do this positivity and this growth mindset thing in our area as well. And I won't list them now because they have brands that they're trying to build, but I can reach out to them. We can reach out to them this week and
Hmm.
try to connect. And we're good friends with them, and we can make that happen. And they are local athletes. They're in the spotlight. They're in the limelight, and so we can hook up with them. And like you said, and like Xenomorph said, we can take their information, and again, it's a positive feedback loop. They
Right.
come into us, like
Right.
there's the inspiration happening in that regard, and then it's growth in a 360 format as opposed to in a linear trajectory.
Right.
Hmm.
Right on.
So that's cool as I see it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, approximately $500.
Yep.
Northwest Seagate Food Bank in Northwest Ohio equates to 40,000 pounds of food.
I want to see that
100%
truck.
go
That's
there.
going to be cool.
I know. I
Yeah.
do too.
And we'll see that all the way through, right? Like Jordan said, we are interested in seeing what that looks like, seeing who's involved, getting feedback on the ground floor, maybe even just as a exercise, seeing what it looks like from the charity side. A lot of people have those misconceptions, like we said earlier, or whether real or false, they don't know what's going on when you donate money to a charity. So even if that's you know one of the small takeaways or large takeaways, it's something that's worthwhile to figure out.
For
Yep.
sure.
Absolutely. I'm trying to find a decent picture so people may have an idea.
Of what
This is
a
okay.
literal
Yeah.
truckload of food looks like.
So this is in Battle Creek. This is exactly 40,000 pounds of
Send
food
me
donated to Battle Creek.
send me a link. I can put it up because they're not gonna be
See,
able to see what you're saying.
Yep. I'm gonna send it in Discord or here.
You can put it in the Twitch chat. That's fine. That way anybody can also peek at it. Oh,
Okay.
whoops. I'm
there you go,
putting our conversation up.
letting the cat out of the bag and everything.
I know, right?
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I guess I can click on that too then.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so even here when they're showing it and you have photos, a lot
Ads.
of a lot of what you're seeing are boxes, right?
Yeah, it's just pallets. It's like the whole box filled with pallets.
Pallets and pallets, but what does that look like? Maybe we can get even a closer dive and we can
Yeah.
provide that content, right?
Oh my god. What a disaster. These ad blocks.
Well, there's probably even a list, right, from the organization itself, a documented item by item breakdown.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that too, right?
It's probably a decent amount of potatoes.
Yeah, like we were talking about Cholinos earlier. You can get,
Yeah.
you buy their $5 pound or bag of potatoes, and you just bought 25 pounds of potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, per family, per whatever. Yeah, we want to be this to be more personal.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you feel when you did donate, if you did, or even if you just watched, because you're part of it. Even if you just watch, that you're getting that fulfillment of that investment, right?
Right.
It's one thing again to donate. It's another thing to see what that means and what it translates to.
To
Yeah.
follow up. Yeah. And when that happens, that will 100% be something to post all over social media. Look at the difference not a whole lot of money can make for these real people, people just like us. I mean, ultimately, we're no different than any one of those people that goes to a food pantry or something.
Right.
Well, and it's
Same
crazy to
same
think.
species.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. Off the top of your head, you probably wouldn't think that $500 would equate to 40,000 pounds.
No,
Well, that's what Alex was
that's
saying. He was going
insane.
grocery shopping for a couple days and spent over $100 for just a couple days worth of food for
Yeah,
two. You know.
two people and two dogs.
Right.
Yeah. So think about that, right? These are decisions we can all make on the daily, right?
Yep.
What if each of us the next time we were going to go grocery shopping decided that instead of doing that, we actually took that money and donated it.
Mhm.
If indeed, you said you almost spent a fifth of that, right? And you got 3 days worth of food. How many days of food is 40,000 pounds, right? And it's only 5 times greater than that.
Right.
So
Yeah,
the idea is that as a community, we can make these things incredibly frequent because we could probably already be doing them at the individual level, each of us. Like even if each and every one of us always rounded the dollar up, for example, when you went shopping. If you did that 1,000 times over the course of your lifetime, I mean, you probably put a good amount of money in, right?
for sure.
But let's make it more tangible. Let's make it more personal and more focused. That's,
Xenomorph, that's a good point. We
Yeah.
brought that up earlier
Yep.
about being kind of selfish and like people videotaping themselves giving like either money or whatever to whoever needs it. But regardless of whether it's selfish or not, I mean these people are still getting what they need.
yeah. So even in like the worst case scenario, if we were a
Well,
bunch of
that.
narcissistic
Well, what
people,
I don't think xenomorph. I think they're also stating that it's selfish because it feels good. Actually, anybody that let me plug Dave Ramsey here real quick, but in his personal finance baby steps, the last step once you've knocked out your debts and you've got yourself set up, the last step is all about building wealth and giving.
Right.
Because he always says that giving is the most selfish thing that you can actually do because you what it does for you, how you feel about yourself and your life, you actually benefit mentally
Yeah.
immensely from being charitable. So
That's why selfishness is not always a negative term. I mean, in this case, it's extremely positive because it's self healing for both parties.
right, right,
So I think when people hear selfish, they think like narcissism or a, uh, just a bad person in general. But selfishness is not always bad because
yep,
if it's promoting things like this, even if we were doing all of this selfishly, who cares? At least we're which we're not obviously, but we're
we're
giving
good
to
people.
we are.
no, that's cool though. I like the way you're even framing that because people don't hear that very often, right? That the term selfish doesn't have to be negative
It's
because
not.
in a way, right, working out is selfish,
Absolutely.
right? Working on your diet is selfish.
Yeah.
All these things that are objectively positive, right? You are a happier, healthier person if you have a better diet and you move your
Mhm.
body.
Yeah, you
If,
don't have to go through your life being completely stoic and not self-serving.
Right.
yeah,
There's definitely easier. What Ray in the chat is saying. Easier ways to be selfish that don't require sacrifice for sure. You can
yeah,
just take and take and take. You can be a dick. There's
Yeah, you can
no
be.
question.
it's not difficult.
Right, right. But well,
Yeah,
yeah, man. So
that's a good way to frame it, though. I did like that, Alex. It's a good line that the word selfishness doesn't have to be negative. You
Yeah,
don't
it doesn't
hear
have
that
to
very
be.
often. I haven't heard that really. So,
yeah,
and immediately starts to reframe. It reframes the whole conversation.
Absolutely.
Usually, you hear selfishness, and the opposite is altruism.
Right. Which
But
altruism is impossible.
yeah, I mean, I that's my background is in psych, right? So many because academia is largely made up of pessimists.
Right. No kidding.
so much of the work on altruism is to basically show that it doesn't exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
In everyone's view, if you're gaining in any regard, even if it's a small way, then guess what? You didn't do it for that other person, right? So
Yeah.
even an ounce of self-serving output is viewed as selfish. But hey, if
Yeah.
again, like Xenomorph said, if both people get to feel good, isn't
Yeah.
that it's probably better, right? Like if
Yeah.
someone gets fed
Right.
and you feel good about it, that's better than them getting fed and you feeling just as shitty as you did 2 days ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. No, it is. It's good that. I mean, that's another thing that we're trying to do here as well. Our whole intention is not just to raise money to do things, but to create a community of
Yeah.
positivity and you know, not necessarily self improvement. That's not exactly how I want to word it, but it fits. You know, you're finding ways to feel better mentally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
um, your day to day, how to avoid,
Yeah.
being trapped in your day to day routines, and your negativity is everywhere. So if giving is a means to that end as well, by contributing to these causes, then it's only another
Yeah.
benefit. So
I think a main thing why people feel so uncomfortable with doing stuff for themselves is because they feel guilty. I think a lot of good people, at least good people, when they're shopping or when they're eating like a decadent meal, they immediately think, do I deserve this? Like somebody else doesn't even have like food for the day and I'm getting myself steak and ice cream, you know.
right,
But
You
if
want me
you
back to ribeyes, dude.
right,
yeah, yeah. Slamming ribeyes here, dude. Yep. But I think if you bust your ass all week, if you take care of your family, if you're a good person at heart, then yeah, you deserve to be selfish once in a while. Treat yourself.
yeah,
And I don't even think it needs to be that even framed that drastically, right? So like a smaller, more mild version of this is the cheat meal in
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're dieting or when you're working towards a goal or what have you. It's only recently that the cheat meal has become generally kind of, at least in the deeper circles of the fitness world, understood as something that must be done,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
right?
for
Beforehand,
longevity.
you were dirty or filthy if you ate a pancake on a weekend with some pizza later on.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Eat the
it's
pizza.
literally happening every time, and it has to for your own mental health.
Yeah,
Yep.
So, like The Rock, for example,
dude,
has
his
made it.
his cheat meals are legendary.
Yeah, did you see it laid out on the table?
Just
He's
outrageous.
an intentional guy, right? He knows what he's doing, so he's taken that time as one of the fittest men on the planet to be like, look at all of the pancakes and booze I'm consuming.
Right, right.
10,000 grams of carbs.
Yeah, I mean, he's showing that look how healthy I am. Look how happy I am. I do this all the
Yeah.
time.
Right.
It's not an all or nothing. That's essentially what it is. The world is gray. It's not black and white. You take that across every domain.
You could say there's like
Yeah.
100 hues of gray.
Let that go, man.
Gotta let it go.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do we want to give our first run at some weekly goals to hold ourselves accountable to?
Yeah, absolutely. Are we talking self goals or goals to keep each other accountable?
Yeah, for
I think
ourselves, whatever. This is a pilot run, man. There's no rules.
I think once a day, if you can squeeze it in. No, no, not even that. You can squeeze it in.
Yeah,
You
there
take
is no
longer.
end, right? That's the whole
No,
point.
you can take longer shits than you need to meditate. I think every day, if you can take 15 minutes to just be present, you don't even have to sit down and meditate with music. There's this little technique that you can do that I learned from my therapist, and it's worked pretty well. Um, if you just sit turn your phone off, no TV, no nothing. You just sit and look around the room, and you find an object, and you say to yourself what the object is, and then you move on to the next object in the room. But just that little bit of being present allows you to, in a way, meditate. So if you can take every day 15 minutes to do your own form of being present, see how you feel at the end of the week. See how you feel by Friday.
Yeah, it's almost like a dynamic form of mantra
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
meditation.
It's like it's like
never
an
heard of,
external.
yeah, I never heard of that. But mantra meditation is obviously something you run into all the time. Like I think even Jerry Seinfeld was on in an interview recently where he said that he does this meditation and has for decades, along with physical
Mm-hmm.
workouts. He lifts weights and he does meditation. People don't think of Seinfeld as a person that lifts weights. Like it's another good thing to illuminate that you don't have to be the Rock to lift weights, right?
Right.
It's you can do small amounts of movement and you're gonna be the better for it. So yeah, I like that though. I never heard of the dynamic form of that, so
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, it's probably the simplest thing you can do. All you have to do is sit and name things in the room to yourself. It sounds kind of crazy. It really does, but it it helps.
Is there breath work involved in that, or do you
Nope.
is the focus just on the item?
The focus is just on the item, not thinking
It's
about
got to be
anything
just
else.
to keep your brain here rather than
Yeah.
on everything
Well, that's
else,
exactly
right?
what it is. She gave me this tool years ago when I was, because I can like feel panic attacks and stuff coming on. I think a lot of people can, but if you just sit and focus on something, and then when you feel yourself starting to trail off, turn to something else and name that thing, and then to the next thing. I mean, your room has 100 things in it, and by that time, you'll 15 minutes has gone by, and you'll probably be okay.
Hmm.
It's just a simple thing, but I think 15 minutes of any sort of meditation or breath work that you can do is beneficial.
That's a really good point, Xenomorph.
Mm.
People needing a little guidance. Things do seem unattainable, or you don't know where to start. I know I've definitely had that experience. I used trying to pick up one of these guitars. That's you listen to somebody that knows how to play that, and you pick up a guitar and you can't even play a note
Right.
to try and get to that end point. It's like, okay, well, what the hell? What is
Disheartening.
the starting point? So you apply that to anything. Meditation, you apply that to how do I feel better throughout the day?
Yeah.
What are some things that I can do? What are some simple first steps? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
cutting
I
yourself
like
some slack too. I like that.
I was just gonna say I like the second part of that comment too, starting small and cutting yourself slack. A lot. So Jordan and you might have Alex as well, but our dad was a bodybuilder, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we grew up with very clean, pretty hard diets by today's standards. Like it was just the food we ate.
Yeah,
We ate canned tuna and plain chicken breasts and broccoli. That was dinner. So Jordan and I are in the position mentally where like going on a diet, it's never been difficult.
Yeah.
Because we've already experienced that. But you don't obviously need to go that extreme. And in that previous world, and in the diet world in general, a cheat meal for the casual individual feels like the end point on your journey that you just failed and it's now over.
No.
It's never the case.
Mm-mm.
And again, the modern fitness industry is, or at least the diet industry, at least from a scientific standpoint, is trying to actively fight against this. It seems, which is good. There are resources now to be like, hey, no, you didn't just You didn't even fall off the horse, actually. You're still riding the horse.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a much longer journey than you might have been thinking. So yeah, cutting yourself some slack and realizing that a hiccup isn't the end of the journey. Period. You just dust yourself off and you just do better on the next meal.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
sure.
Have a beer. If you're dieting and you want a beer, one beer, have a beer. Go drink it, and then don't have one for another week. It's not
It's
that
just
hard.
formation, right? And execution.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you got the mantra, dynamic mantra. What about you, Jordan?
It's not done until you die. There you go.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Jiu-jitsu life. That's my motto when I talk to students and other people on the mat. And be like, "Oh man, I'm having a bad day," or they're like, "What does it feel like? What did you do when you got tapped?" I'm like, "Tapped? This is a timeline that extends for decades. Like
Yeah.
one day on the mat, now you're gonna have awful
Right.
days.
What did I do when I got
Well,
tapped?
some days
High
you
five the
do
person and
yeah. Guess what?
you
You
moved
just
on.
life, dude. If you just got tapped, you just found a reason you weren't doing something well.
Yep.
Right.
You get to go right back on. You didn't die.
Yeah.
For
That's what the
sure.
tap's
For sure.
Fix
for.
it.
Yeah. So Jordan, do you have
So do
the?
we? Well, do we each want to come
No,
up with
that's fine.
something, or do we?
Like
Do we all want to try and take Alex's 15
I'm
minutes a
fine with
day?
that.
I mean,
Yep. Um,
I'm just something I've started doing. I'm holding myself accountable to it as I am. This is a very simple thing, but I am trying to up my water intake. So first thing I'm doing in the mornings is I don't have it with me, but I am drinking a lot of water, which is why I had to leave momentarily earlier. But
Yep.
so that's something I'm actively doing because you do just feel better. My lips have been
Yes.
getting chapped with this cold weather, and it helps that. So
Absolutely.
um,
yeah. Guess what? You need less chapstick the more water you drink.
right. So
Chapstick is literally addictive. Your body gets addicted to it, and then it relies on
I know someone that knows that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thing. So
Yes, half your body weight in ounces in water every day.
half your
Well,
body
so
weight
I,
in ounces. Okay. I
I,
Yes.
was like, what?
Yeah, drink
You're drinking 80
80 pounds
pounds
of
of
water.
water a
so
day?
even the messaging from water, I want to make it even simpler than that. I like the water. You can do that. It's not necessarily connected to or mutually exclusive from what Alex said. So do the water, do the 15 minutes, but water in like, who knows what an ounce is? Like right now, like when you pour a glass, very few people are drinking out of a beaker or whatever. So I
Ooh,
I like to say
fucking beakers.
wake up, grab a cup, fill it up twice. You just sit there, you put water in it, you drink the whole first one down. Guess what? You don't do anything else. You fill it up again and you drink that one. That's the start of your day. That's what I
Yep.
always say.
Yeah, I
Just
don't.
make
I just have a
it.
big. It's a giant. It's a really big mason jar. I have no idea how much water it actually holds. It's a good amount. But yeah, I fill it up and I don't let myself leave from the sink until it's gone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
There. So
it's
drink the water, do that, and I'll just because it's also disconnected from what you two did, piggyback of what you said, Alex, earlier. If you do go shopping or whatever, a lot of places make it really easy. Round up.
Round up. Do it every time.
Yeah. So even at like, so I went and got a coffee from Starbucks this week,
Hmm.
and right now they're doing, or when I went, it was National Croissant Day.
Was Ray there?
So, which is funny, right? Like
she
the
got
idea that
her. She got her chocolate croissant.
Chocolate
has a
croissant.
National Croissant Day, whatever. But you could either buy one or donate it to a healthcare worker.
Oh, cool.
I donated one because
Yeah.
I wasn't going to eat anyway. So I'm not saying like I'm the most altruistic person. Had it been 1 o'clock p.m., maybe I would have eaten a croissant. But I'm
Right.
not going to start my day at 7 in the morning with a croissant.
No.
So
Hmm.
I donated it. Or when you go to for like Fresh Time Market, here again in Toledo, they often do a roundup for food banks.
Yep.
So do that. That's my accountability. If you do that roundup and drink water and try the mantra,
I wonder if we can do that math, that rounding up math. Thing is, I don't
it's
make that many. I don't make that many purchases anymore these days. With I'm not going out. I'm not going out much. So I don't know. I'll brainstorm on it a little bit. If there's a way to do that math and just put that money aside, and at the end of the week we'll put it into this pool.
Jay, do you guys get many things off Amazon? You could always just sign up for the Amazon Smile.
Yeah, but like I said, I was wondering if maybe we can just do that rounding up math every week,
right.
and then at the end of the week we just throw it into whatever the current donation
Yeah.
goal is. And,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And just see. I mean, maybe who knows if we each have one type of purchase a day that's anywhere from 12 to 80 cents rounded up. Do that every day between 3 people. Whatever, it's a handful of bucks every week towards it as well.
Yeah, so you could even probably simplify it and say usually it's that you round up on the dollar, right? I have been one time to a place that rounded up 5 or greater, so it ended up being $4 because I was at like $25.60 or what have you, and I was charged $30. I wasn't expecting it, but so that's not the norm. So the norm is usually in cents. So maybe you can just make it as simple as, the next time you go to a store, if it's $1, or you just treat it as $1. So add $1 to your total.
Add $1 to every purchase that you do, basically. Instead of, I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. Put every transaction.
Add $1
that we have. I'll get my wife on that as well. Every transaction that we have, add $1 to it, and at the end of the week, I'll throw it in the current donation, the 40,000 pounds of food.
Deal. Sounds like a plan.
I'm interested. I'm wondering what's going to happen with my brain during this 15-minute. I'm just going to do it during my daughter's first naps and sit here. I'm just wondering what's gonna happen.
That's why I made it 15 minutes. What's that, Johnny?
I said, just picture Jordan like the dog from Up.
Yeah. Okay, I'm meditating.
Right.
Baby.
Right.
No, but usually I do like half an hour sessions, but 15 minutes is you can get to a good place in 15 minutes, and not everybody has a half an hour. Like if you have a baby or if you have school and work or whatever, not everybody has
dictated by a sleep schedule, but 15 minutes. She never takes that short of a nap, so I can.
Yeah, everybody has
get
15
it done.
minutes.
Yeah, or when she goes to bed at night, I can do it.
Yep.
So
because it sounds like a plan. I think we're about to close out.
Yeah.
For the day. I just we should reiterate one more time. We started up a drive right through every donation that comes through Twitch is going to go to the Seagate Food Bank of Northwest Ohio. We picked a $500 target because that equates to 40,000 pounds of food. Okay. For the winter months, for those that are food insecure. And again, we chose that food bank because we live in Northwest Ohio and we know what it's like up here, and we know that the situation's not that great employment-wise and from a housing standpoint. So we want to. It also makes the follow-up easier, where we can potentially contact people and go meet them throughout this process and see what all these things look like in real life. So every cent, 100% of anything that comes through will be going there. We're not interested in taking anything. Any donation isn't. None of it's touching our hands, or pocketbooks, or wallets.
And that will be easily documented. You'll see the end result when we get there. So, couple shout outs. Hey, we got four followers during stream today. So, nice. Danya, Ray, Xenomorph. And now I'm looking at this name and reading it properly. I definitely know who this person is, but it's weird to say Nivek La 66. Alex, think
Yeah,
about
thank you,
that a
guys.
little bit. If you saw it written out, it'd make sense. But thanks for the follows. Xenomorph for the $10. Appreciate you, dog. And join us on our 15 minutes a day of meditation. Drink your water in the morning, and add $1 to your purchases, and set it aside for something a little greater.
Mm-hmm.
Something other than yourself.
Yes. But take care of yourself. Don't forget about
Do the extra purchase for you, but set aside $1 for someone else.
Right.
right, it's that line again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Good game, guys. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yep. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the chat. It's been real.
Appreciate
See ya.
you.